who don't make it can see the meeting. So if you don't want to be recorded, you can always go dark on your screen. So immunity boosting foods, what is that all about? So, your immune system helps protect you, and it basically is your actions of your white blood cells. So your blood has red blood cells and it has white blood cells. And the red blood cells are carrying oxygen throughout your body, and the white blood cells are basically defenders. So here's the red and the white. And the white blood cells, I'm going to let someone else in. Hold on one sec. And the white blood cells can help fight things like viruses, bacteria, and cancer cells. So you really want your white blood cells, these soldiers inside of your body defending you, to be nice and have a lot of them. And you want them to be, happy and healthy. So there are things you can do to help boost the activity or the amount of white blood cells that you have. And there's things that you can take out of your diet, and there's things that you can add to your diet. So the things that you want to take out of your diet are greasy foods. There was research that showed that white blood cells can't gobble up viruses as effectively in a fatty environment. So if there's too much fat in your blood, in your system, your white blood cells don't act as well. So the fatty things that we're talking about that you should be trying to eliminate are cheese, anything with dairy, cheese, ice cream, yogurt made of dairy, because it's high in fat. Any kind of meat would be high in fat. So that would include your beef, your chicken, your seafood, and then fried foods. So even though French fries, are plant-based, they are fried. And not only will they have ramifications for your weight and your heart health, they will also have ramifications for your immune system. Same thing for, any plant-based food that has been fried. You're basically like taking away some of the goodness. So like when you make a falafel, you can bake a falafel. You can bake French fries. Just finding another way to prepare your food that is not, soaked in oil. And then the things that you want to add to your diet are, of course, things that have antioxidants in them. And antioxidants are compounds that help fight off, cell damage, and they also boost your immune system. So you can tell an antioxidant by its color, usually. And one of the interesting things that Dr. Barnard mentioned the other day, and Dr. Barnard is the founder of the Physicians Committee for Responsible Medicine that promotes plant-based eating. He was saying, when you go in the grocery store, you can see the produce aisle. I mean, you can see the produce section because it's so colorful, and humans are not colorblind. And that's because we have the ability, has evolved, that we are able to see colors. So we can see the beauty of, these blueberries, and the beauty of these red strawberries, and the purple cabbage, and the greens, because we're supposed to seek those things out because those are good for us. And like a cat is colorblind, but it's really good at seeing motion because it has to catch its food on the go. So, these adaptations that we have, being able to see color, are probably for a reason, because we need those things. You don't see a cat bellying up to a salad. So one of the big antioxidants that is great to really work into your diet a lot is beta-carotene. And beta-carotene can be identified by the color orange. So orange in sweet potatoes, orange in carrots, any pumpkin, squashes, butternut squash, all that great orange is beta carotene. And there's actually also beta carotene in green leafy, dark green leafy vegetables. It's just hiding behind the chlorophyll. So even your kale and your broccoli and things like that have beta carotene. You just can't see the orange. Vitamin C is another big antioxidant that you want to work into your diet. So citrus fruits. I almost got some persimmons or some kumquats because those are more unusual citrus fruits. So you don't have to be limited to oranges, lemons, limes. You know, there's a whole array of citrus fruits that you can eat. And studies have shown that, you know, drinking orange juice is not as good for your system as eating an orange. So you always want to try to eat the whole fruit as opposed to drink just the juice. And if you have not been in a Food for Life class, you may not know that peppers, bell peppers, actually have more vitamin C than like an orange. So bell peppers are great to add to your diet as well for vitamin C. And then vitamin E is a fat soluble vitamin. So it's found in a fattier food like nuts and seeds. So adding those to your diet if you are not having issues with weight. And then the amount of nuts and seeds is just a palmful a day, a palmful. So just the palm of your hand filled with a little nuts. It's about a quarter cup, which can be really hard to limit yourself to. So I try not to snack on nuts and seeds. I try to just sprinkle them on things so that I don't get caught in that, you know, eating a whole bag of nuts. And then the last thing, antioxidant that I'm going to talk about is vitamin D, and that comes from the sun. And a lot of us don't get enough sunshine. So you may need to check with your healthcare provider to see what your vitamin D level is and see if you need a supplement. It is one of those vitamins that, you know, a lot of Americans are supplementing. And then I also want to put a shout out in for sleep, because the body needs sleep to recover, and your immunity drops if you don't get enough sleep. So if you're not getting 7 to 9 hours as an adult, that's the typical amount that adults need, then you may be sleep deficient and your body may not be able to recover and fight off diseases as well. And of course, you know, your brain function can go down with not enough sleep. And when you're sleeping, you're not snacking. So if you are trying to manage your weight, you know, going to bed is a good way to not eat. And then I did some research with Dr. Greger's site, nutritionfacts.org. I really love this website because he scours the research to see what has been proven to be effective. And, you know, I looked for things like turmeric. I looked for things like garlic and ginger, and his information is really specific to different conditions. So turmeric, you know, had a lot of information about various types of cancers that it was helping with prevention. So I didn't want to put up anything specific about like turmeric, garlic, ginger, because I think if you're interested in those, you should look at nutritionfacts.org, because it was so condition specific. There wasn't like a general, you know, general information about those, except in his daily dozen. So Dr. Greger has a daily dozen foods that you should try to eat every day. And basically he asks himself, how can I make this meal even healthier? And so his daily dozen comes in a free app that you can download. So if you wanted to really dial in your nutrition, I would try to follow the Greger Daily Dozen. So this is, these are screenshots from the app. So it is 3 servings of beans. And then if you click this little information button here, it will tell you what a serving is for each of these things. So 1 serving of berries, 3 servings of fruit, 1 serving of cruciferous vegetables, 2 servings of dark leafy greens, 2 servings of other vegetables, a little bit of flax seeds, a little bit of nuts and seeds, like 1 serving, herbs and spices. So he does say like a 1/4 teaspoon of turmeric is kind of his determination as far as like, this is a good amount of turmeric to have. Whole grains, 3 servings, beverages, and he goes into what his healthy beverages are, which is like, green tea, water, different other teas like hibiscus tea, and then exercise, plus the supplement vitamin B12 if you are plant-based. So, this is a more specific list of exactly what you could eat in the plant-based arena for health. And if you eat all of these things, you will probably, even if you're not plant-based, you'll probably be so full, you will have crowded out a lot of things that are less healthy, like meat, cheese, and processed food. So, and then one other thing, if you go down to the bottom of this app, you see here 21 tweaks. So there's even more you could do to dial in for nutrition. And this is like some additional things you could do every day. So you could take a look at that 21 tweaks and decide where you wanted to, cut off on this nutrition journey. But I love that app. So before I go to the kitchen, I'm gonna stop sharing my screen and see if anyone has any questions on that first part.
I love Gregor's stuff too. So
yeah,
good sense of humor, and it's helped me get motivated.
Excellent. Is there any one specific topic or video that you really loved?
I like to troll all of them. I mean, his intro to just eating healthy and diet and the things that we think are true that really aren't, I found fascinating, and just sort of rat-holed anytime I have a question about nutrition. So I love his stuff. Thank you for bringing it up.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and you can sign up, and I get like a daily little either blog or a video from him with really interesting information. I'm really surprised more people don't go here to get their information, because anything he talks about, he backs it up from scientific reports. Like he has stuff about statins. And then I think tomorrow, oh no, maybe it was today, it's called Flashback Fridays. I don't know if I got something from that. But anyway, I really find him, whenever I'm in doubt, I go to that website to verify what I hear, maybe on the web that's good to do.
What is his website?
I think it's nutritionalfacts.org.
Oh, that's
just
his
nutrition.
website.
Just nutrition facts.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And I will include a link in the follow-up email to his website as well.
I'd like to add, Granetta, that I find turmeric pretty easy to include daily. And I just want to, let everybody know that, adding some to a salad dressing that you're making, or, if you're making a soup or stew, to add it, along with your other spices is, I don't know, I find it really easy and include it at least twice a day. So, yeah.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah.
And I do know if you're trying to have the turmeric be more absorbed, it's better if it's with black pepper and a little bit of fat. So like, if you're making a salad dressing with hummus, that'll have tahini in it. Or if you're making, throw a couple nuts on your salad as part of your handful, that will help the turmeric be absorbed better.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody else? All right, I'm going to shift over to the kitchen camera.
Granetta, you're,
Thank you.
yeah.
So today I'm going to be making one of my favorite sandwich fillings, and it's a baked tofu. And it's really easy to make. It takes a long time to cook. So I'll usually do it like on a Sunday when I know I'm just, going to be hanging around the house. And it also has a long marinade time. So I have to think, a day ahead if I want to have this, because I let it marinate overnight. So I have some organic firm tofu. I usually get mine from Costco. I buy my tofu in bulk. And it's packed in water, so I'm just going to open it over this bowl.
Annette, if you're buying a lot of tofu, how long does it last in the refrigerator, or do you freeze some of it?
I leave it in the fridge for quite a while. I guess the Costco packs are 4 packs. And I've left it in the fridge for quite some time. Sometimes over the pandemic, I had tofu in there for like a month. As long as it was unopened and refrigerated, I've left it in there for quite some time. And they do put a use by date on it. And this one says it's best if used by October 2021. And I probably bought this, a week or 2 ago. So I'm sure I've gone past the best date, the best use by date a couple times.
I did find out by accident, you can freeze it
Yeah.
and use it later, so.
Yes. So I have frozen it, and it actually changes the texture
a little.
to a little more, I don't know, spongy. It kind of puts more air in it. But everyone really liked it when I froze it and defrosted it and then cooked with it. They felt like it had more of a chickeny texture, a little more spongy. So when I do this, I'm going to use a 9x13 baking dish to marinate. So I try to get 1 layer of tofu in that baking dish, which means I cut my tofu into 12 slices. So I will cut it in half. And then I just try to do thin slices, about 1/4 of an inch. That's 3. So I got 6 with 1/2. And if you want, you can cut it into quarters and then try to get 2 slices in each quarter so that I have 12 slices. All right, I'm going to set that aside while I make the marinade. And I will be sending this recipe out in the follow-up email. So it's going to be a 1/4 cup of maple syrup. You can also use agave, which I do usually use, but I don't know, for some reason today I'm in the maple syrup mode. Agave is better if you have diabetes. I'm going to use Bragg's liquid aminos, which is gluten-free. You can also use tamari, which is gluten-free, or soy sauce. Bragg's has a lighter flavor to me. If you don't do soy, I made some with this no soy Ocean's Halo, and this is a really light. So you might want to double the amount of this if you're using it, and half the amount of water that I'm going to use. So it just has more punch to it. So I'm going to use a 1/4 cup of the Bragg's, and I will put that note in there about switching the proportions if you're going to use the no soy sauce. And then a half a cup of water.
Brunetta, what is the no soy? Is that a coconut aminos or is it, what is it?
It is not. It's just a blend of,
Like different flavorings?
yeah, so water, molasses, sea salt, apple cider vinegar, lime juice, cultured dextrose, and then some chemical natural flavor, kelp, mushrooms, fruit and vegetable juice for color.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. Uh-oh, did I do 1/4 cup or 2? I can't remember, so I'm only gonna do half of that 1/4 cup. All right, so now I'm just gonna add the spices, which are some smoked paprika, a teaspoon, and a half a teaspoon of garlic powder, and a half a teaspoon of onion powder. So there's really not much, to this. It's more the wait time for the marinating and then the cooking time. But every time I make this, I'm like, I should have doubled it because it gets eaten so fast.
What is that, that spice holder that you're using? That's very cool.
Yes, it is a traditional Indian, would you call it a tiffin, Anu, still?
Yeah,
do you spell that?
we call them a katordan,
Ah,
which is like with like katoris, which are small bowls, or
Did you put that in the notes when you send it out?
or masala dibba.
Huh.
A masala are like your spices, and it's like a box for spices. I don't know, Mom, did you want to say something?
No, you're saying the right thing. I'm glad you learned it all.
Yeah, you taught it for me. I have my katordan.
can you spell katordan?
Yeah, well, I don't know if I can spell katordan. I can spell masala dibba.
No,
Okay.
MASALA
Uh-huh.
dibba, DIBBA maybe. Oh, I can find them. And
no,
do you know
Anu,
how to spell katordan, Mom or Dad?
no, you can say katordan, but simple spice box.
What?
Spice, spices.
Spice box is masala dibba.
Okay,
Yeah, let me get mine.
I will put that in the notes too. So now I'm just going to lay,
Oh, I was gonna just, while we were on it, this is the one my mom gave me when I had my first apartment.
hold on, can
Can
everybody
you-
see that?
I don't want it
No.
to spill. Okay, can you see them now?
Oh,
No.
yeah. Oh, let me unspotlight myself for a sec. Can you see a news here?
We just see rooted dish.
Oh, okay, well, I don't want to take up too much of your.
Oh, there it
time.
is. Yeah, there it is.
You see it?
I think I have to
Yeah.
talk and maybe that's why, yeah, so the
Yeah,
different
we can
spices.
see it
go.
now.
Okay, and it's got this lid that you put on top to make it sealed, and then you put the spoon here, but you use like a tiny spoon, and then you shut it with this. So it's all like contained.
Yeah. I was lucky. Mine was a gift from a neighbor. And I can imagine having it forever. Thank you, Anu.
You're welcome. I think Lisa put some links. Yeah, you can get them even on Amazon, which, I mean, what can you not get on Amazon?
Very true. So now I'm just making my single layer, which helps, every slice get the marinade, and it just, perfectly fits 12 slices. Then I'm just going to pour my marinade over top, make sure everything's in there.
That's
And then
13 by 8?
9 by 13.
Oh, 9 by 13. Okay.
Yep. And then I have this lid that came with it. I just snap that on, put it in the fridge overnight, pull it out, and then I just pop the lid off, and I bake this at 300 for 90 minutes. And depending on the tofu, you may need to go a little longer. I like mine to be pretty dried out. Oops, sorry. So I'll show you. I pre-cooked some today, and it comes out pretty firm. This one, I would cook it even longer, a little bit longer, because I like mine really firm once it's cooked. So I might let this go for, another 20 minutes, 15 or 20 minutes, just watching it so it doesn't go too far. And this set I made with the no soy. It's still tasty, but I think I would have changed the proportions to make sure it has more flavor, more of that soy flavor. And then to make my TLT, I would just use some toasted Ezekiel bread. Or is everyone familiar with that? I could show you the package if you're not. You could either put on some Follow Your Heart Veganese, or if you want it to be all whole food, you could just use a little bit of smashed avocado on there if you wanted to, so your sandwich isn't too dry. I would use a lovely slice of tomato. Instead of lettuce, I often opt for spinach, just for an additional nutritional boost.
So that after then we go down.
And then I like it spicy. I don't know if you guys can see that well. There you go. I put on a couple of Greek pepperoncinis. I sprinkle on a little oregano. And I've got my TLT. So I'm just going to dress this one up with my vegan mayo. And then, like I said, if you didn't want to have it as a sandwich, you could just, cube this up and put it on a salad. You could do it in a wrap, as Michelle mentioned. It is a nice filling, and I really try to, let me sprinkle my oregano onto the mayo. And the oregano just makes it smell like a deli sandwich to me for some reason. A couple of slices. My spinach. My peppers. And actually, usually I put the peppers on top of the mayo, so they are kind of like, glued down. Voila. I'm ready to eat that right now. Any question?
It's really good.
And then you can just store this in the fridge, in an airtight container. I would eat it within, 3 or 4 days. And that's it. So TLT.
That sandwich looks so good. Those pepperoncinos, what are those?
They are, they're just marinated peppers.
What is it marinated in? Like, does it taste like vinegary?
Vinegar, yeah, vinegar,
Okay.
a little bit of salt, a little bit of turmeric. Turmeric, rosemary extract, ascorbic acid, and citric acid to help.
Who makes that? Who makes that?
This is Jeff's Garden, and I get these at Whole Foods. And for some reason, I love the flavor of these. I've bought pepperoncinis elsewhere, and I haven't been as happy with the flavor. So Jeff's Garden from Whole Foods. Let's see.